Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Tonight we are going to look into the Spring Boot webhook that we already created. We have created this in an earlier video where we wanted to use Google Assistant and then we wanted to use Spring Boot as the backend. So we could actually provide some voice prompts so the Google Assistant would say something from that we decide from in the backend. Tonight we're going to look into something called Ssml and it is actually short for, and let me just go to the screen right here. It is short for Speech Synthetic Markup Language, and that is something. This is something that Google has added in order for us to actually make a small break and decide how the text should actually be pronounced. And you can actually see right here, it looks actually like XML right here. So we have a speak element right here, and then we have some text, and then we can actually interpret it as characters. So that means that then one character will be set at a time instead of Google will try to pronounce this as a word. So we have all of this text right here. We can also play audio sources like this. We can also say that we want numbers to be interpreted as a cardinal. You're number 10th in line, and you are an ordinal. You are the 10th in the line, etc. 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 You can also say that you want this to be W3C to be pronounced as this alias right here, World Wide Web, etc. You just need to use this SSL format, and this is exactly what I have created. So let us go to this right here. Yes. Here it is. This is my project. It's Google Actions Webhooks, and I'm going to upload the code afterwards as usual. I've already started with some cool stuff. I'm using Heroku because it's very easy. I could also have used Google App Engine, or I could use some of one of the other clouds to deploy my application. But I'm using Heroku, and as soon as I push code to my GitHub repository, then Heroku will build and deploy this application on this URL that I have right here, and you can actually see it right there. Google Actions Webhooks Heroku.com API. Okay, and then the last that is of course the webhook endpoint that I choose. So first of all, let us go in. I have mapped all the JSON that we need to send and we also that we received. I've mapped this in the Google API right here. Here we have the response. All of the Google classes, all of the Google mapping has been prefixed with GA, and feel free to download and use all of these classes right here. So, but the short of the long is that we have a request, and the important part right here is the GA handler, because the GA handler has a string, and then depending on the string, then we should do something differently in our backend. Of course, there's also something called session where we can get some data from. This the storage in the session is located in inside the session, or at least as I remember. Yes, here we have some params. But what this video is about is the Ssml. So that means that when we create a response like this, then we will give a prompt. That means that we will set something that we should say to the user. Then we can say something that we should, it's actually just a string. If you dig further into it, then there's speech right here. And if we set the speech field to something, to an Ssml, then we will actually get it pronounced the right way. And after we have used the first symbol, then we can also set something in the last symbol. We're not going to do that. That's just if you want to have something to say in the ends. That is also possible. But we are going to use the GA prompt with the first and symbol. So that means another thing we would like to give is actually the next scene. So we need to give the GA scene an instance of that, because here we have GA next scene right here. So I'm also providing this to Google Assistant, to my flow, and in this one I will just write a static value. So, and I've actually created this helper method right here, and I'm using the builder pattern because I like that. Then there's a lot of null values up here that there's a lot of fields we're not setting. So that's where the builder pattern is just brilliant. So we set the prompt right here. The prompt, we're also building the prompts, and then we are building the first symbol right here. And here we're setting the text. This is the important part, and we take the text from this method right here. And build. And then we have the scene right here. That is also a GA, that's the GA scene builder. Again, we use the builder, then we say next. Again, we say, give me the GA next scene builder right here. So we have builder inside builder inside builder, and then we build it from the next scene, and we set the name, which comes from the other argument to this static method right here. And I just did this as a helper method. So let me go to my Ssml scene controller. I've already prepared that right here, so that means that I've created a REST controller right there. Then we have request mapping right there, API scene Ssml. And a request mapping right here, it answers the method post, so that means that we need to post requests first. And the reason why that is like that is because usually we need we need to post the handler usually. I'm not using the handler here, so we can actually write whatever we want to write. And I'm forwarding to last scene. And the text that I'm using is actually the text that you saw on to begin with. It's actually from the Google demo right here. All of this text right here, that is actually the text that I have I've created in a method. But we can actually add some more stuff because I can see that we have no dates in it. There's a break here, and you can read all. There's some good documentation right here. Let me just copy that as long as I remember it to my README file right here. Here it is, resources, and here it is. And let me just go back again. Here we have a lot of documentation here. Say as cardinal, say as ordinal, say as interpret as characters, CAN instead of can. And then we have a fraction, 5 plus 1 out of 2. We have a lot of cool things. There's also unit right here, 10 foot. It sounds a little bit different when you say it as a unit instead of if you say 10 unit. Verbatim, actually, what is that? Let me just
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Okay, so then just spells each letter. And what I actually wanted to add on the fly was this part right here, interpret as date. Let us copy that.
The 10th of September 1960.
10th of September 1960. Okay, and then here we have the detail. So there's a lot of things here where we can say detail 1, only the day field. And 1 month of the years required, blah, blah, blah. Also, it could be... Yes, we're just going to do exactly the same. I just wanted to code something on the fly, so you can see that it's not just a static example. So here we have the text. It is right here. Say. And the way that I have designed my Ssml builder is that I've created... You can see all this method right here. There's one called say, which is the most simple one. And I have a string up here. So I have this in progress string right here. Then if you call some of these methods right here, then we apply something then we add something to the in progress string. Here we have say, that's the most simple one. We just add whatever we want to say. Now we want to say public Ssml builder, and I always return my Ssml builder. Then we can say something with date, and then we have the string. Here we have the date, right? And in progress plus equal to. And we're going to put away the speak. We're not going to use that. We need this part right here as date. That is fine. The format is. We're going to keep this as a fixed format right now. That is fine. We're going to replace this with percentage s. We're going to. We're going to end this with that. Then we're going to format the string. We're going to use the string format, and because we're using IntelliJ, then we can do something like that. And then suddenly it is boom. We have that's because we have some strings in here. So we need to escape them, of course. First we're escaping the strings as date right there, as date right there, format right there. Right there, and then we say dot format, and then we get the string dot format, and then we say what we want to have here. We want to have the date as string, and then we return this like this. This is a good way to actually create a builder. You always return this, and then at some point you can call build, and then it surrounds it with speak. There was actually also some libraries out there that did this for the Ssml. I just didn't like them also because some of them were polluted with some logging frameworks. So I just decided to make my own instead. And this is a bit more string based. We could actually have created something XML based instead, right? But this will do for my situation at least. And feel free to use it, and feel free to just seal a code and build on top of it. So that's actually it. So let me go to my demo example right here. Then we need to add something with dates. Let us add something with. You can say it right here. Dot say. This is a date. This is a date. This is a date, and then dot dates, and then we put a new string in. And which string was it that they actually had? Was it okay? It was like that. So the year, month, and day, like that. So this is a date, and of course, instead of having 1960, let us take our current date, right? Let us take today. Actually, I could also take it dynamically, of course, but I'll not do that. I'll just do like this. So then we have 11 the month, and then the day, like this, and then we continue after that, and then we say dot and then space like this, and the whole flow continues. And now we have some errors right there. There was also an error right there. I would like to add, it's not errors, it's warnings. So I'd just like to skip all the warnings if I can. It's just if you at some point if you run some quality control, if you leave code with more errors than you actually that you had last time, then your build will actually fail. I'm not doing that actually right now, but before I push this code, let us go and see how it actually works. So I'll go see the current version without the date. Let us try that first, because I might make a mistake that ruin everything, right? So let us try to test it. So we'll just say cancel. I was actually testing it already here, right here. Reset test. That was because I was testing just before. Let me just press this one right here. Speaker. We want to test the speaker. Reset tests. Yes, thank you very much. And talk to speech demo.
All right, getting the test version of speech demo.
Start building your action by defining main invocation. Here are Ssml samples. I can pause.
Let's pause for
I
3
can play a
seconds.
sound. Your wave file. I can speak in
The sound was not
cardinals.
played, but
Your
I think it's
position
because
is
the
10
URL
in
is
line.
not valid.
Or I can speak in
That's okay.
ordinals. You are 10th in line. Or I can even speak in digits. Your position in line is 10. I can also substitute phrases, like the World Wide Web Consortium. Finally, I can speak a paragraph with 2 sentences. This is sentence 1. This is sentence 2. We are now in the final scene.
So-
My demo scene.
Let us go back to the code, because now I want to push it. So we can do it 2 ways. Then we added dates. Then we push the code. I like to use terminal when we're using Git, because I don't know exactly what is going on. Of course, IntelliJ is pretty good, but yeah. Okay, so now we pushed it. I have already started up a log with, you can actually see here, build started by user. This is my Heroku log. If you don't know how to create the Heroku log, of course you need to have the Heroku CLI installed. And it's actually free just to put up test applications like I'm doing right here. And then you write Heroku space logs -a for app, and then you need to mention your app. And if you don't know the name of your app, then you can actually just write something like apps or something. Let me just see if I can find that. And then -t for training in the end, like that. So now we're just following the log, and it says build started by protomail, deploy, restarting, and then it starts up our application. And it uses the build image. It uses build images to do this. And now it's actually up and running. Okay, so let us try to run our test again. reset test, and talk to the speech demo. Let us see this time what it says now. I would just like to have the date
Alright,
included now.
here's the test version of speech
Yeah,
demo.
here it is. Look.
Start building your action by defining main invocation. Here are SSML samples. This is a date the 23rd of November 2020. I can pause. I can play a
This is
sound. Your wave file. I can speak in cardinals.
This is really
Your
good.
position is 10 in line. Or I can speak in ordinals. You are 10th
Yeah.
in line.
I
Or I
think
can
this-
even
if
speak in
you're making-
digits.
Okay, let me
Your
just stop.
position in line is 1.
So I stopped it there. If you're doing anything with, if you're doing anything with Google Assistant, I would say this is a need to have. You need to be able to control how good the Google Assistant is actually saying stuff. Did I show you everything? Was there anything else I want to show you? I think I've shown you already. I also created a curl command. I like to do that to test the API, so that means I can also run here, and then I get all my then I get my text right there. So that is another way to trigger the application. Thank you very much for listening. Let us just go back once here again. Yes, we cannot see that enough, and then we go back to the waterfall. And then I should find a good way to round off this video right here. Join the Discord. We have a lot of fun out there. The link is in the description, and there we are discussing a lot of weird stuff. We also sometimes people just come with jokes or good music they found out on YouTube, for instance. So yeah, but feel free. There's a link in the description. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great evening. Bye bye.